With the opening of Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea, fewer and fewer people were visiting the parks, so Western Village declared bankruptcy and had to close. Now the park is completely abandoned. Inside the cantina, the robots remain, rotting away with the pass of time. John Wayne's animatronic is still at the park, but it is practically destroyed. Now, the thought of entering a haunted house attraction is scary itself. Now imagine entering an abandoned one. Inside, you can find many creepy mannequins and props, and even a creepy lady half buried in stone.
Oh god, yeah, that is super creepy, guys. That would have been very cool if it was operational though, but yeah, like looking at all the animatronics, that's something that always gets to me, man. It's like animatronics, dolls, or just like things that look like humans but aren't humans, and then also include the fact like it's, oh, they're old, they're creepy, they're abandoned. Yeah, that is scary.
Pripyat Amusement Park was planned to be open on May 1st, 1986, for the May Day celebrations, but sadly, because of this disaster, its grand opening never came. This park had 4 attractions: bumper cars, swing boats, swing carousel attractions, and a Ferris wheel. This last one became a symbol of the Chernobyl tragedy as the years passed. For a long time, it was believed that this park was never able to be open to guests, but it was discovered recently that it actually opened after the disaster. As we said before, the park's opening was scheduled for May 1st, but when the disaster happened on April 26th, the government opened the park. That's right. The park was operational during the first 36 hours of the accident.
Wait, hold up, this is Chernobyl? Is that what that was? Like, they just brought that one word into it at one point. If that's the case, and like, we operated with that, like literally the accident happened and then we opened the park and let people do stuff at it for 36 hours. Questionable freaking behavior here, gentlemen. Like, that is not where we need to be doing. We need to evacuate people if that's Chernobyl. And if that is actually the case, that makes it way more scary because then people probably died there.
Dreamland Park. Dreamland Park throughout its history would just continue to get darker and darker throughout time. Built in the 1930s, the park would be open for less than 2 decades.
What park
before it
is
was
this?
shut down for rampant gambling and ties to the mafia. Then in 1969, it made headlines again when 2 decomposing bodies were found in the woods on the grounds of the park. Autopsies would conclude that they had been beaten brutally, the woman dying of a fractured skull and the man being shot in the forehead.
Ooh.
It was ultimately determined that the murder was committed by a motorcycle gang in the woods.
Okay guys, so if that's an amusement park, then that is the worst possible amusement park ever. I see like one shed in the woods and we're like, this park, like it's so bad. Like, yeah, I think it was bad to begin with prior to the murders. Like, can you imagine taking your kids to this spot? Being like, all right kids, like go play in the poison ivy right now. Like, me and your dad are gonna go smoke a doobie behind the shed. Like, what is this?
Legend has it the Philadelphia Zoo is home to numerous ghosts, which make their presence known by flickering lights and even full-bodied apparitions. Sci-Fi's Ghost Hunters investigated the zoo in 2010 and encountered strange thumps and old-timey music. And not surprisingly, it is also built on another ancient burial ground, which seems to be a trend. Can people like check what's underneath the ground just a little bit before investing millions of dollars into building something? Just a thought.
See, okay, here's the one problem with that, and I do agree with him at the end there, like check what's under the ground and whatever. But humans have had a bad history, guys. We have killed a lot of other humans, and we have buried a lot of other humans, and they are all over the place. So if we were like, oh no, can't build there, dead humans, can't build there, dead humans, there would be not a lot of places we can build anymore, and that just sucks that this happens to be one of those bad places.
Originally known as Jazzland, the Six Flags in New Orleans has stood abandoned for more than 15 years. The signature ride of the park was the Mega Zeph. This roller coaster was unique in that it had a wooden roller coaster track built on a steel frame. This was done to prevent termite infestation as well as help the ride withstand strong hurricane winds. The construction of this roller coaster provides a strange sense of foreboding, as not even 5 years after its opening, the park was demolished by Hurricane Katrina and had to close its doors. The park was thoroughly submerged, and in the aftermath of the hurricane, what was left was a wasteland. The park was left standing in nearly 7 feet of water, and all of its rides had suffered extensive wind and water damage.
Wow, that does suck. Like, Katrina was so bad, guys. I was too young at the time to, like, really take it in. I think I must have been, like, 7 or 8, or I don't know what I was, but, like, that was so bad. Like, that was a horrible, horrible storm to cause something like that to happen. Literally, the entire amusement park is just gone. It's just wiped off from the face of the planet right now. That sucks. That is, like, honestly, that's just, like, that's not even scary. That's just, like, sad. I'm sad for that.
Kings Island, Ohio. Most people say the hauntings here come from those who accidentally died at the park. Like the 1976 occurrence where a lion country safari ranger was killed by a lion. Can you imagine a lion attack happening in front of a bunch of casual theme park goers? That's just brutal. Also on Black Sunday in 1992, a man, his friend, and a security guard were electrocuted in a fountain that apparently had some unknown electrical problems.
Jeez, the electrocution, that would suck, guys. Also getting mauled by a lion. Actually, comment down below, what would be the worst possible way to die? I mean, getting eaten by a jungle cat, I cannot imagine would be very good. I'd probably take electrocution over the jungle cat, because at least I think if you get electrocuted, it's just like, you know, like 5 seconds of just like awfulness, but then like, I think you're dead now. I think you're fried, like you're done. Whereas like the jungle cat thing, like it could tear your arm off, and you're just like slowly going like, no, thank you.
Our next theme park, Taman Festival, located in Bali, is known as the saddest theme park on the island. Not only was it a failed amusement park, but it was also a failed dream. Costing a whopping $100 million to build, the park now lies abandoned with crumbling buildings, rogue vines covering every surface, and piles of grass littering the ground. This once magnificent theme park is being swallowed by nature and looks like a haunted, dilapidated building straight out of a thriller movie. Stories of ghosts haunting this place are often told whenever this park is mentioned. In fact, the gatekeeper of the park was once recorded as saying that he sees ghosts every day.
I want to know what it looked like, you know, before. Like, is this $100 million? This does not look like a $100 million complex right now, guys. This looks like a, you know, kind of a crap hole, honestly, but $100 million was put into this place to make it elite. I know it's been a while. I wanted to know what it looked like prior. Now they are right. Like, honestly, that looks like something out of a video game, guys. Like, apocalypse video game, like you're getting attacked by zombies or something like that. Hey, honestly, like, cool Call of Duty map, maybe.
Lake Shawnee Amusement Park.
I know about
The creepiness
this one.
of this one all started back in the 18th century, when Mitchell Clay brought his young family out west. Tragedy struck after a dispute with some tribesmen, ending with the loss of much life, including 2 of Mitchell's young boys. The property didn't get much attention again until an entrepreneur named Conley Sneedo decided to build attractions there in the 1920s. Soon after, a little girl died there on the swings, and a boy drowned in the pond. In the end, roughly 6 visitors died during the amusement park's brief history.
And the way that the little girl died, too, was actually a truck backed into her as she was on the swings. Like, just like a horrible, horrible, tragic accident. I know a lot about this park. I put this in a top 5 video literally the other day. This one is scary for sure, guys. And like, there's been a lot of reports seeing not only like ghosts of the people who were there in the 1800s, but also like some of the people who died there in like the 1920s, the 30s, the 40s, and whatever, until it finally went out of commission in like, I think it was the 60s. So yeah, no, avoid this one at all costs for sure.
For all intents and purposes, Gulliver's Kingdom sounds like a storybook theme park. Why then was it abandoned? The main reason for this park's failure was its unfortunate location. The park was built near Aokigahara, the infamous forest of Japan. It is the second most popular spot in the world, and more than 500 people have been said to have taken their lives here in the last 70 years. And if this wasn't enough, the Kamakushiki village was also the location of the headquarters of the Aum Shinrikyo Doomsday Cult. Back in 1995, this cult had been responsible for the sarin gas nerve attacks in the Tokyo subway system.
Yeah, okay, I knew about that. Didn't know about, like, wow, this is just a horrible, horrible location that we picked right now, guys. Like, there's just, like, crap going on everywhere. And they're like, wait, no, amusement park. And everyone's like, no, death. Like, ugh, that sucks. Like, obviously, it's abandoned now. It's just like everybody is like, it's just bad. It's just bad.
Six Flags New Orleans, also known as Scream Park. Scream Park is the largest abandoned theme park in the world, and lucky for us, it's also considered to be one of the most haunted. While apparently no apparitions have been reported, Many urban explorers who trespass there have said they feel like someone or something's watching them. Others have reportedly seen lights flicker, even though there's no electricity supply running to the place, as well as hearing spine-chilling clanking noises, as if someone were starting the rides up.
That's weird, because it's like we already saw Six Flags in New Orleans, I thought. But I guess they have multiple Six Flags, so it's like, that's kind of crypt. Multiple abandoned Six Flags. Six Flags, what are you doing? Why are you leaving all these haunted, abandoned freaking amusement parks everywhere? Like, stop abandoning them. We gotta have people come in them so they don't get haunted. Wow. Maybe a conspiracy theory right now, guys. Six Flags is really out here like, you know, a bunch of ghosts running that thing. And they're just putting up all these abandoned things, causing ghosts to happen. Count freaking onto you, Six Flags. I see what you're doing here.
Joyland Amusement Park. Till the early 1970s, the park was successfully run by the Ottaway family before they retired and sold it to Stanley and Margaret Nelson. The Nelsons were responsible for introducing many of the most popular rides in the park. However, disaster struck the park in 2004 when a 13-year-old girl fell 30 feet from the Ferris wheel and got seriously injured. When we look back at the operations of the park, we find that there were several other incidents such as this. In the early 1960s, before the era of animal rights activism, the park had featured several animals. This included an 8-month-old lion that bit a caretaker.
Jeez, okay, yeah, so we were, honestly, this is the ownership thing. You know, like, I understand why we're abandoned now, guys, because we just had some crappy ownership going on there. They had lions biting people. Probably, like, the rides were not kept up to... That's honestly so scary to me, guys. It's like, when you go to a place like this, it's like, I'm trusting with my life that you guys have done your due diligence and these things are like up to code. And this was one of those instances where it's like just was not the case. Anyways, guys, those were some abandoned amusement parks that are just like really freaking scary. I haven't been to an amusement park in like years, partly because of COVID and partly just because like I haven't gone. Comment down below, when's the last time that you went, like your favorite ride and everything like that. Hopefully you don't go to any of these ones though. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog, and I'll catch you next time.